What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It is JRob here from Team Energy Golf Clash. And this week, guys, we are headed over to Drumore Links to celebrate some Irish heritage there with the St. Patrick's Day tournament. So if it is your guys' first time here to the YouTube channel, make sure you guys do please consider subscribing, especially if you're going to hop on over to the channel and check out a couple more videos. You may want to do that. So look at the links down in the description below. They may help you, and we do have a lot of information and groups that you guys may possibly want to join down there. But thank you guys very much for being here. I do greatly appreciate it, and I hope you guys can bear with me here as I am a little bit sick this week. My nose is kind of clogged up, so I hope you guys can hang out with me here as we go through the guide. But let's jump on over here, guys, to the very first hole for Drumore Links, and let's get it started. Alright, guys, what is up? Welcome to the St. Patrick's Day tournament, a guide and walkthrough video here for Pro and Expert Division. Here we've got hole number 1, par 4 here for Drumore Links. So there's actually a couple different ways here that we could potentially play this specific hole depending on the wind that we do have in the tournament. Now we could more than likely, the ideal approach here that we're going to look for here is the right-hand side. But if they do give us a wind that we do have to play the left-hand side, like a headwind here in this specific clip, you'll see me here play this left-hand side. Now you can play this right-hand side here, but as we go on and see this second shot here, you will be in a little bit of a mix-up in clubs. You might have to use overpower, and there is a little bit of elevation on this particular shot here as well at max distance, plus 10% here, so you could actually hit that rough patch in the very middle of that fairway back there if you weren't, we had a bad headwind and you weren't fully overpower, or, you didn't have a wind or a ball that you could actually get over that rough patch right there. Because here, even with this Titan ball in the elevation, it's going to blow me back, and I'm actually just going to clip that rough patch there. So that is one of the options or reasons why I chose to use this left-hand option here. Now, what we're going to do here is just get this at the very end of this little platform here on the left-hand side. Now, that's going to set us up here at about mid-distance for a long iron approach. That's going to be a very, very nice shot there for the second approach on this very first hole here. So what we're going to do here is play the left side for the long iron rough bump here, and that second shot is going to be played at 0% here from the left hand side. Now if you are playing that right hand side option, keep in mind that that is going to be played more than likely at maximum or minimum distance there with your long iron, maximum distance being with the short iron, and you will be playing that at plus 5%. But like I said, we're looking to get just right down here on the end of the fairway. 350 yards is going to be about perfect there. And you will see here, my opponent is going to be just a little bit mixed up in clubs there. Now, he could have potentially used his short iron here. Now, if you do get far enough down this fairway to where you can make a nice shot here with your short iron, what I would recommend doing here is actually using the thorn, because you may happen to go with a full backspin approach actually over the flag and rolling back. I've made that shot plenty of times in tour play. Or you could actually go with just a straightforward shot here with backspin straight at the pin. Now, if you don't feel comfortable with either of those options, you could bounce over the crick there towards the pin, and that is a very good option as well. Now, if you're a little bit further back, I would recommend not trying to drive as far as you possibly can and keeping it a little bit further back, because as you can see, that wind angle there kind of messed with my opponent. He thought, it was minimum distance, and he basically adjusted for max distance there and hit a great ball, so he was way far over there to the right. Now, I was looking to potentially even use the bounce over approach here if we could potentially use that, but what we're looking for here is mainly the rough bump, and if you get too far down there, the bounce over with the long iron is going to be out of question, which one of the things I was checking right here. But what we're looking for is almost 2 bars of topspin here, and there is a little glitchy spot there in the rough. So what I would recommend is if you're hitting that spot, just go with, a bar of right-hand side spin and that a bar and a half to 2 bars of topspin there. Make sure your ball guide is going just into the pin there. That's going to be the ideal approach to actually get you enough speed to where you can drop this for the eagle here. So we're going to come in there straight at the pin, clipping right off of that rough and right over into the pin for the eagle. So this should be a fairly straightforward one there for you guys, depending on the options that you guys use. But good luck for that one, guys, and we're going to move on to the next one. Alright guys, so that's going to move us right on over to hole number 2, a par 3 here for Drumore links. So there is actually a couple different options as well here that we could approach this par 3. Now, one of my favorite options here on this actual hole is to pull it back just a little bit here before the rough patch that kind of comes in and out, and we're going to use a long iron actually. Now what we're looking here is to use about just a little bit more backspin here than I did and kind of cut back just a little bit on the side spin. So we want about 1 and a click bars of left-hand side spin, and we're looking for our blue ring to be just touching the very left corner of that rough line. And we're looking for just that little bit more backspin, almost like 3/4 of a bar of backspin here, just a little bit more, so we aren't coming in just as hot. Now off the very first shot here, we're looking for max distance plus 20%. As we just go over the corner of the hole there, we're going to need just that little bit less speed to be able to land that one. So that is why we're going to tweak that one there just a little bit, and hopefully we'll be able to drop that one for sure in the weekend round. Now, there is a more ideal approach for some of you guys out there that is a little bit more great proof, because if you do hit a great left shot on that approach, you're more than likely going to fall off of the slope on the left hand side and you're going to end up in the rough. So if you want to take a pretty straightforward approach here right at the pin, that's going to be safe, and you have a good opportunity here at really getting the hole in one as well, you're going to play this at about minimum distance here with your sniper plus 20% elevation as well, but you're going to make it right about where your white ring is just about touching the fringe there. We're going to want it just a hair shy, about half a ring shy of where the fringe line actually is, because what we're looking to do there is actually come just before, so our ball bounces up and still has that time to come down and bounce one more time right there before it actually goes into the pin. So we need that half a ring just a little bit further back to actually be able to land that one, but it will be a great opportunity either one of those ways at actually getting the hole in one. So you're looking for full backspin there with a couple bars, bar left hand side spin. You should be a-okay. We're going to move on to the next one. Moving right along here, guys, we are going to move on to the very first of the par 5s that we do have here today at hole number 3. So right off of the bat here, guys, this is going to be kind of dependent on the wind that we have. Now, if you have about full topspin on your extra mile at 8 or 9, and we have, a good tailwind that's going straight ahead, you may want to play straight forward and try to reach the very furthest fairway right over there across that rough line and that little bunker there to the left, because that's going to give you a very, very nice approach at actually getting the albatross here on this hole. Now, if we don't have that opportunity and we have basically any other wind, we're more than likely going to play this down this right-hand side little island curled fairway here on the right. Now, you're looking for about 5-6 bars of topspin to get as far down there as you possibly can, because that really will help with the distance here on your second shot at actually setting yourself up for a good second shot. Now, you can play that with 2 bars of right-hand side spin, but it is recommended to play it with 3, but you could just compensate with a little bit more curl. Now, what we're looking to do here is to actually put it up right around where my opponent's target is here. Now, unfortunately, I didn't get a good clip of this specific shot within the time frame that I was working with, and all of the older clips that I had were kind of outdated, and I did not want to use them. So what we're looking for here is about a bar to a half a bar of backspin, and you're looking to kind of use that side spin to drive your ball back into the left. But the trick here is going to be playing this at minus 10% at max distance or mid distance, depending on which shot option you go with, because there is another shot option where you could pull it back before the bunker, and you could actually use topspin to compensate and use that topspin to ride up and around that hill. Now we're going to show you another clip here because we do have that shot option and that approach here available to watch for you guys, so we're going to go through that as well. But just to give you guys another clip here and opportunity to see this, what you're going to do here is use about 50 curl to the right. About what your screen is as far as curl, you're going to want it, about a half a ball outside of your target, or about just as much curl as the extra mile has will be perfect. But if you're using the APOC, or we have a tighter wind in your ear, or a wind that's going from right to left, and you're going to get kind of more tight to that rough line, you may want to use just a little bit more curl and move yourself to the left a little bit more to get yourself away from that rough line. But more than likely you guys are going to be set with a shot like this if you are a little bit further back. Now what you're looking for is about 2 bars of left hand side spin and around 4 to 5 bars of top spin, just getting your ball to curl up and around where the pin is going to be. You want it to be just offset that little bit so that you can use that little bit of a ricochet straight up that hill, but you need that top spin. So you're going to need about a bar to a bar and a half more top spin than you just saw my opponent go with there. And I also wanted to say, guys, that if you do find yourself just outside of the fringe or right up here, take it, because you guys are going to be able to chip in for a nice eagle there when some people may mess up on this hole, because it is a little bit more trickier hole for some of us. Eagle. That's going to move us right on over to our second par 3 that we have here today in the tournament here at hole number 4. And I just wanted to say as well, I really do appreciate you guys bearing with me, because I know my voice definitely sounds a little bit raspy as I am sick. I was almost hesitant on making the guide this week because I was so sick yesterday and didn't have the time. But I was feeling better today and wanted to put the guide out for you guys. So here on hole number 4, we're going to be playing this at either mid or minimum distance. Now, for this particular shot, we're going to be playing this at minimum distance here plus 20% elevation. So we're going to be playing this with a bar and a half of back spin. And we're going to play this with half a bar of right-hand side spin to guide us right back in towards the flag. Now, you're going to have to hit a perfect ball here on this, but it's going to be an absolutely great opportunity here at actually grabbing that hole-in-one. So you can see there my opponent used about a bar of backspin, and we need just that little bit more backspin there to get that control on our ball guide so that we actually have that speed to hit the pin and actually drop. So what we're looking for there is almost just past the minimum distance line, and a power 2 ball is about perfect here in my opinion, and we're looking for that bar to a half a bar of right hand side spin. You could use a bar and push yourself just a little bit more to the left to fight yourself away from that rough line, but we're looking for that red ring there just inside of that rough line there, so you're in or around about the right spot there. So with that 20% elevation adjustment there, we're going to be just bouncing over onto the other side, coming in there slow enough straight at the pin. So we needed just that hair less backspin on that shot. So you're going to have to compensate and get somewhere right in between on those two shots. We're going to be able to tweak that and hopefully land that shot within the weekend round as well. So that's it, guys. It's going to be the wrap-up for hole number 4, par 3. If you don't feel comfortable with that one, use the Guardian and lay it up on the green. Okay, guys, so here on hole number 5, par 4, we have a couple different options here as well that we could potentially play this hole depending on the wind that we do get. So I wanted to show you guys this line right off the bat, that if we do have a nice crosswind, or we have a decent tailwind here, right where my target is, all the way up on the fairway there by the green, that's where we want our ball to land. So we're going to play that left-hand side with full topspin, about a bar and a half of right-hand side spin. We're going to launch it with just a little bit of overpower to where it bounces once off the very end of that first platform right to the left of that bunker with about, 30 stack curl, and it's going to bounce over the bunker and land on that furthest platform there down by the green at max distance there, plus 10% elevation on our shot. Now, if you don't feel comfortable going with that shot that I was explaining there, we're going to play this shot that you just saw there in the clip, and we're going to use that little bit of curl and get down as far as we can here on this right hand side fairway, bouncing over that bunker line with full topspin on your club, around 5-6 bars. Just get down here as far as you can. Now, it's going to set us up here for a bounce over shot here with either the Thorn, the Hornet, or you could potentially use the Grizzly here and go with the minimum distance rough bump shot right into the pin. And that could be a very good option for some of you, and maybe an option some of you guys want to go, and is a very good one. But if you don't feel comfortable with that and you'd rather use the short iron and have a better you have a better feel for how you want to use and your short iron, you're kind of better with that. I would go with the short iron approach if you know your numbers and stuff better, but you may be a little bit caught up in distance there, so make sure that you do get as far down that fairway as you can. So as we were very, very close there, I actually played that one just a little bit under, so we're going to be playing the second shot there at 0% elevation, so definitely keep that in mind, but it should be a very straightforward shot there for you guys, and an easy one to handle. That's going to take us right on over to the second of the par 5s we do have here today, and the more trickier of the par 5s in my opinion here at hole number 6. So what we're going to do here is try to play this right hand side option, especially if we have a beautiful tailwind like this one here in the clip. Now what we're going to do here is play this at max distance plus 20% elevation. Could use a little bit of overpower like you see here in the clip, but it is a very, very precise shot here, and you are going to have to get right down there between those bunkers and the rough line there. So definitely be careful and make sure that you can make a perfect ball, because it's going to be very, very vital. Now here on this second shot, we have a few different options, but getting as far down there on the drive is going to be very vital. Now what we're looking for here is about 2.5 bars of backspin, that 2 bars of left-hand side spin, and we want to put our target up further towards the green and just use about 20 stack curl to the left and curl it in there to the left. Now that's going to be a good ideal approach there, and you could potentially use a rough bump option there on the left hand side with a couple bars of right hand side spin, and I believe about a bar to a half a bar of backspin, just guiding yourself out of that rough, catching the lip, and it will actually funnel your ball down right into the pin on the left-hand side. I actually saw that Ehrlich had a decent shot for that approach. If you guys wanted to go check that out this week, he had a pretty good approach for that I saw. So, could be a potential option. Now, if you do find yourself in the rough or the bunker off of the very first shot, and you have to use your Nirvana, your rough iron, or your sand wedge to get down here and get onto the platform attached to the fairway that the green is on, you're going to have a long iron or a short iron here to the pin. If you can get on that fairway, you're more than likely going to have a short iron. So what we're going to do here is play this at mid-distance with 2 bars of backspin, a bar and a half. Just make sure it's about a square and a half away, and you have that little bit room to roll. Hit that perfect ball with a good adjustment, and you guys should be able to save that eagle and still be able to drop that ball. So definitely pay attention there, guys, and make a good shot there on your drive. That second shot, though, is going to be played at minus 10% there at max distance. So that is a big factor as well at actually keeping that in mind and paying attention to your adjustments, because a lot of people will actually over adjust that second shot, and that's how you end up in the rough or the bunker, bad places. So I'm going to go through and show you guys another clip here, because I did want to talk about the potential left side option, because it is a real option but in my opinion, it is a little bit harder. So what we're going to do there is, if we do play that left-hand side, we're going to play it with the big dog as our second club, or the Cataclysm. You could potentially play it with the Horizon as well, but what we're looking for is to just get at the very, very, very end of that left-hand side platform. And we're going to show you guys another potential option here on the right-hand side as well. If you don't have enough topspin and you have to get just a little bit, if you're over further here to the left and you don't get far enough down the fairway there, you're not going to have a straightforward shot really at the pin down that right hand fairway. You're going to have to go off of this left hand side island, and this is the island that you will be going off of. On the left hand side, you're going to bounce straight forward, and what you're going to do is just clip that rough with just a bunch of topspin. You're going to either double bounce here on the very end of this fairway, and you're going to roll onto the green, or you can play it from the right hand side and play this option here if you don't get far enough down. Now what we're looking to do here is just use about half a bar to a bar of backspin here at minus 10%. We're going to really have to trust our ball guide here, because I actually played that at 0%, so we came in quite a bit over, and you're really going to have to trust your ball guide that it will clip that very edge of the rough line before the green there, so that it will funnel down into the pin. That's a harder shot to make, but it is a potential option. But nonetheless, it will get you guys close, and you'll be able to drop that eagle. So that's going to be the wrap up, guys. I'm losing my voice, and let's move on to the next one. Alright guys, I'm moving right along here to the last of the par 3s that we do have here today at hole number 7. We better hurry up and finish the guide before I lose my voice here. I am actually I was really sick yesterday, but today it ain't too bad. My throat's just really raspy, so I definitely apologize, guys. But I know my voice is a little bit different than normal, so I hope you guys can bear with me. But what we're going to do here to dial this shot in here is we're going to play this with 1 bar of backspin, 1 bar of right-hand side spin, and we're looking to get it just shy of where the flag is here. We're going to be playing this with our wood club at max distance plus 20% elevation here. We're going to want that white ring just touching that rough line, so we know that we're in and around the right place. Now I actually under adjusted this here, so that's why we're going to come in there just that little bit to the left. So make sure you guys can hit that perfect ball and make a nice adjustment, and 1 bar back, 1 bar right should do you the justice. Now you could potentially play this a couple different options. You could use a rocket and a lower powered ball, and you could actually put it right up onto the green. You could use the Guardian if you wanted to, potentially on this hole as well. But what we're looking for here to really be able to dial in that hole-in-one is to go with that option. If my opponent there would have used the 1 bar back, 1 bar right option, he would have had just that little bit less backspin there to actually still come and have that speed to drop into the pin. So make sure that you guys can make a nice shot there on this one, and this one should be one that we should be able to get really dialed in there, and a great chance at that hole-in-one. So we're going to show you guys one more clip here, just to give you guys a good idea on how close that you can potentially get with this shot if you hit that perfect ball. So what we're looking for there is about a square shy to a square and a half shy, and you can see where that ball guide kind of funnels in from right to left. Now we want to be just offset to the very, very right of that flag, so that that last little bit where our ball guide isn't is going to dive us back into the left, and it'll keep our ball rolling so that we have that speed to actually dive in. Now, if we would have hit a perfect ball here, this definitely would have went in for a hole-in-one, know that for a fact, but we came in there just at half a square to 3/4 of a square left of the pin because we couldn't hit that perfect ball. So make sure you can hit the perfect ball, and you guys should be a-okay to absolutely drill this hole-in-one. So that's going to be the wrap-up for hole number 7. We're going to take it on over to the second to last hole that we got here today. Alright, so we're going to move on over to the second to last hole that we got here today at hole number 8, par 4. So we're going to show you guys a couple different clips and ways that you can potentially play this hole as well, depending on the level of your extra mile or some of the clubs and drivers that you guys do have. Now, if we do have an amazing tailwind like we do have here in the clip, you can try to drive the green. If you do, I would recommend, if you do have a top spin, at least a top spin boost 1 ball, and you have an extra mile 9, that's going to be about the perfect amount that you're going to need to just double bounce here at the very, we're going to clip, double bounce right there, hit this next platform, and it's going to be enough to 1 bounce off that last platform, probably just clip the rough and roll out onto the green or really close to the fringe right there. Now, that's going to be my best recommendation as far as really being able to grab the eagle on this hole. And even if you do end up in the rough just outside of the fringe or the green there, you're going to be able to use that topspin and that ball guide out of the rough to extend that ball guide and really, make a pretty straightforward rough iron chip that's going to be just outside of the green, and one that you guys, shouldn't have to adjust really at all. You just offset it that little bit and you should be fine. But what we're going to do here is play this at max distance plus 10%. And you can play this one down the left-hand side as well. But in my opinion, I do like playing it on the right-hand side here. Now, I'm going to recommend that you guys play this second shot here with the Hornet. Now, you can play this with a Grizzly as well and go with the rough bump at minimum distance with the Grizzly. If you are a little bit further back, you could use a katana ball and not worry about driving so far down on that right hand side, and you could take a nice rough bump approach there. But if you do go with the bounce over approach here, you're going to see I run into a little bit of a problem. Now, there is that little bit of a distance in that gap right there, and we needed that little bit more topspin that we would have here with the Hornet. Now, what I would recommend is to use about 2 to 3 bars of topspin here right over that platform in that rough line to be able to come in and still have that speed to bounce you right up onto the green and catch that little bit of speed to roll into the pin. But what we're looking for there is that speed. That's what we really need, and the ball guide on the Hornet is going to help you just that little bit, especially over that rough line. So it's got a little bit better accuracy. You should be able to make a pretty straightforward shot there with the Hornet, but it may be a trickier one. But that's going to be played at max distance, 0% elevation, so keep that in mind. But as you guys can see here, that rough iron shot right out of the rough here, just outside of the fringe line, is going to be a very, very easy shot to make. If only I would have made it, right? It's very easy to say and when you miss it. But I've made that shot a ton of times. It's only practice. We got to make it in the weekend round. That's when it counts. But should be an easy one there, guys. If you can land it and hit that perfect ball, you get yourself in a rhythm, you should be just fine to land the eagle on hole number 8. So we're going to show you guys one little last tip for the left-hand side. I would recommend using the thorn if you do play the left-hand side, because you are going to run into the wrong problem that you're going to need the backspin instead of the top spin. So keep that in mind. Okay though, guys, that's going to move us on over to the very last hole that we do have here today at hole number 9, par 5 for Drumore links. So this specific hole may be a trickier hole for a lot of you guys out there. Now, if you do not have the topspin to get yourself over those rocks, what I would recommend doing is playing this hole as tight as you can to that right-hand side rough line by the rocks that goes around, and you're going to have to play this with a big dog or a cataclysm and take a very, very slick second shot here. But if you don't, we're going to go either with a curled slice shot just like that to give you the overpower that you need, and you're going to have to adjust that 4 targets over, I believe. If I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments below. But if I do believe it is 4 targets that you're going to have to move your target from white ring to white ring to white ring all the way over 4 times to be able to slice it all the way over to the right and be able to bring that back. So, and that's with the curl that you're going to need as well. If you don't feel comfortable going with that slice shot, and don't take my 100% word on that, just want to let you guys know, but if you don't, you can go with a straightforward shot just like you see me doing here. The shot is going to be played at 0% at max distance, but we're just looking to clip those rocks, and the rocks will launch you up and over. Now, the only problem is using too much topspin sometimes, but here in Pro, I do not think that we'll really have that problem. But if you are able to get yourself over onto that fairway where, you know, that little neck, that if you can curl it and get it over the rocks, you will be able to use a sniper shot here to the pin. Now, if you don't feel comfortable with that, you're going to be a little bit further down where the one fairway connects to the other fairway. And what you're going to have to do is use quite a bit of curl here to the left and almost full topspin with your big dog to bounce it all the way up and down this platform. Very sorry, guys. I'm almost losing my voice now. But your second shot is going to be either with the sniper, the big dog there, or the cataclysm. And this second shot here is going to be played at 0% elevation as well. Now, I actually played this here at 10%, and I believe my opponent did here as well, because we came in quite a bit further here to the right than even I expected. So definitely make sure that you guys are a little bit particular there with your shots, and make sure you can make a nice adjustment. The horizon may be a potential option for you guys as well, and that is why I pulled it out and figured I would use it here in the clip, because it's one of those clubs I kind of sleep on. It really doesn't have you know, a whole great of accuracy, and I know we just went over the club guide, which I know you guys had some of the you know, pretty 50-50 feedback. A lot of the people, you know, weren't 100% sure on the chapters and stuff, so I may go back over that and do individual guides for you guys, but we'll talk about that here at the end of the video. But what we're looking there for here, guys, is about a bar of backspin straight at the pin here, and what I would recommend doing is just offsetting it here to the left, because it's looking like our ball is curling and going down to the right. So what I would recommend doing is putting it about a half a square to almost maybe 2 squares to the left of the pin, so that once we use that backspin, about a bar to a bar and a half, 2 bars of backspin straight to the left of the flag, it's going to be just enough there to be able to curl us that last little bit as it slows down right to the right of the flag. So it should funnel us back in and be able to drop. Now, it's going to be a trickier one, guys, but one that I know you guys can manage. Alright though, guys, that's going to be the wrap up for the Pro and Expert Division guide and walkthrough video here for the St. Paddy's Day tournament. So, just a little bit of a fun fact here for you guys. I am Irish. I've actually got a shamrock tattooed on my foot, and my middle name is Patrick. So, just a little fun fact there for you guys that are still here in the video with us. So I just wanted to say thank you guys very, very much for being here and watching the content. I've got so many ideas for this team and our community of people, and we've got a lot in store. So I really appreciate you guys being here and hanging out with us and watching the content, sharing it with your friends and all of your JRobGolfClash community. It truly does mean the world to me. Make sure you guys check out the links in the description below. I am going to be starting a Patreon page because some of you guys out there were asking me about it, but I just wanted to be able to make sure that I really have something to offer you guys and to be able to make you know, a really good platform there that you guys can enjoy, something that really will help you guys. So we're going to be working on that and a lot of the tier systems and stuff that we've been doing, and more content. So hope you guys will hang around. If it is your first time to the channel, please do consider subscribing. Make sure you guys smash that like button on your way out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys. Take care. Happy golfing and good luck. Peace.